And Eric asks, I just started a new job. What should I do with my old 401k?
That's a great question. There are a few options that you have, right?
Mm-hmm. And this is something, Rob, that you had to deal with and think about recently, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And you don't have that many options, but you do have a few. And probably the worst option, we'll go over that first.
Least exciting option.
Right. We don't want to really get too far into this, but you could cash it out, pay the taxes and the penalty.
If you're under 59 and a half?
That's not recommended, but you certainly can.
Well, and let me stop you there, because you could also pull it out and then change your mind and want to put it into an IRA.
Got to be within 60 days.
But you have to be within 60 days, that's right.
And also the problem there is if, like the texter mentioned, he's leaving work. If he cashes out the 401k, they're going to automatically withhold taxes. And if you decide then to put it into an IRA, you have to go back to the federal government and request those taxes back to put into your IRA.
Yes, that's correct. So, Rob, what's option number 2? So one is cash. We don't want to do that.
Right.
You could wait for your new employer to open enrollment for a new 401k and then roll that old one into the new company's plan.
That can be a very good one, because we know that you need to do a little research first beforehand, which is, does the plan that I have today have better options, maybe more cost-effective options, maybe ones I like better? Number 2 is making sure that you do what we call a trustee-to-trustee transfer, which is you're going to that old employer and you're saying, hey, give me a statement. Then you have to go to your new employer and say, give me a transfer form.
Right, so or they'll do it electronically for you.
Exactly. And that's an important one. And there are some things to think about. And we know that in your particular case, if you have more than $5,000 in that old plan, you don't have to take the money. If you like it, you could leave it there. And again,
but I think Rob makes a really good point about taking it with you. And that's because we've had a handful of clients that 20 years ago, they remember that they worked somewhere and they never moved that money. Well, a few things can happen. You lose a statement. It's really hard to find your money if you don't have your account number any longer. The plan itself could have moved. Your employer could have chosen a new location for the plan if you've lost records of that transfer, because they let you know that your account's being moved. If you lost the record of that, it could be even more difficult to find. So it's kind of important that you want the money to follow along with you. And there's one last thing that you can do that would at least help you keep track of your money, which is, put it into an IRA.
A traditional IRA.
Right.
Because, and I guess, a question we also are often asked, we had this last week, which was, well, can I just take it and put it into a Roth? Well, the answer is yeah.
Ouch, again,
but it's not tax-free.
Right.
Because we're talking about taking it from a pre-tax account and moving it to a after-tax account.
I have a question on that.
Mm-hmm.
What if you're under 59 and a half and you can do what they call a Roth conversion? You can take the IRA and move it into a Roth, or is that considered a distribution?
It's still considered a distribution.
So you can't do Roth conversions before 59 and a half. So if the texter happened to be under that age, that would basically be cashing it out.
Yes.
Not taking the penalty and then doing something with it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, obviously being eligible for that new employer's plan,
mm-hmm.
being able to move that money over there. And the cool part is that, you literally have 2 pots of money. You have your new pot, which is your new contributions.
And hopefully your employer's matches.
And that's probably subject to their money, their contributions, honey, you're right, could be subject to some type of a vesting schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But the money that you move over, as well as the money that you contribute, well, that's already fully vested because it was yours.
And that's something that we left out from the texter's original question, which is we don't know how long he's worked there, what their vesting schedule is. So if you're leaving an employer, you want to make sure that you're clear, or when you're signing up for your new plan, you want to make sure you're clear what the vesting schedule is, because if you leave, you could be leaving money on the table.
Well, and in fact, you would be leaving money on the table.
If you're not vested.
Yeah, for whatever portion you're not vested at the end of the year, what will happen is that plan sponsor will...
takes it back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's interesting is they take it back, and then either they're going to the employer that has an opportunity to either spread it among the active participants directly, or take it back and reduce their future contributions.
Oh, so it's like a prepayment on their future contributions to employees. So they do spread it no matter what, essentially.
They get to recycle it.